Hey guys, Doug Gaffney here. So I wanted to give you guys a quick training to illustrate, what we mean by go solar and invest the difference. Now, we really pride ourselves in making sure that our client is getting the best value. I'm not talking about Walmart, okay? I'm just basically saying, and that's actually great value, right? But we want to make sure our client has the best price on the market. Okay, so generally when it comes to pricing, a lot of companies, they'll price, a lot of companies, they don't know this because when you sell on a PPA, all you're seeing is kilowatt hour. You're not seeing you're seeing the cost per kilowatt hour. You're not seeing the actual pricing. Okay, so generally standard, or the industry right now is between $3.80 to $4.50 per watt. A huge range, right? It is. So for us, we want to be below the competition so that way we can give our clients the ability to actually create a great savings that's sustainable long term. We want to make sure that month one, year one, your savings, that way, no matter if the utility rates, which obviously we are seeing the last 10 years have increased on average about 7 to 8% annually. But even if it just stayed the same for the next 25 or 30 or 50 years, you'd still be able to have that same savings. Okay, because with some of the main financing options we use, there's no escalator, all right? And that payment is leveled and fixed for the next 25 years. So our pricing model is based on about a $3.50 per watt pricing model. Now, of course, there may be some different variables like roofing or, different factors that may have to demand us raising that a little bit higher. But generally, we're about $3.50 watt for your average typical project, okay? Now, I'm just going to share with you, a 5 kW system, kilowatt, 8 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, which is 10,000 watts or 8,000 watts or 5,000 watts. Okay, it's 1 to 1,000 conversion, all right? Because over here, what we're calculating is what a typical 5 or 8 or 10K. As a 5 kW system, that system is going to, cost at $3.50, $17,500. Now this is net. This is gross. This is before the tax credit of 30%. So that's pretty huge. I'm not even showing that as far as for the client, as far as that benefit. But $28,000 for a typical 8K system, $35,000 for a typical 10K system. What is this system going to produce in a relationship to kilowatt hours? About 7,500 kilowatt hours for the year. Okay, so remember, when we have those summer months and then the winter months, that's when we take an annual average because the system is geared to produce what you're going to be consuming for that year. It's going to produce what you're typically going to consume for that year. All right. If you need more panels or you need to take panels away, that's also an additional option. And maybe you want to relocate your system. Generally, that costs maybe around $500 to $1,500. Okay, it's not that hard. It's just construction. But then again, it could be, right? All right. So 7,500, 12,000 watts, kilowatt hours, 15,000 kilowatt hours for your average 10 kW system. So, now you can kind of see when we say, hey, we need 12 months of your utility bills. We want to know the cost. We want to know the consumption so that way we can produce a system that's matching or mirroring a little bit more possibly of what you're actually consuming so that way you can have an effective system. This is why we need that information. Now, to show you how the savings is created, typically an average rate, especially here in California, is about 25 cents per kilowatt hour. Is about 25 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay, so if you can just do some basic simple math and you multiply 7,500 times 0.25 or 12,000 times 0.25, then you'll get these numbers. You see $1,875 for the year or $156 a month. $3,000 for the year or $250 a month. $3,750 or $312 a month. Now, of course, we know every month's going to be a little different, but this is your annual average. This is why we want to see every single 12 months so we can build an effective system. Now, when it comes to financing, I've gone ahead and did the handy work to calculate based on the financing of about 8%, through CalFirst, which obviously that's also tax deductible, Key word, that's powerful. When have you ever been able to, number one, have ownership of the power you're producing on your roof, turn your roof into an ATM, but furthermore, be able to, write that off annually for the life of that loan or that note? That's pretty powerful. So, you can expect for this system size, and I'm kind of just doing it in this graph here, about $14.15 a year, $22.40 a year, $27.93 for the year, which creates a savings for the year of $460 for your typical 5 kW system, $760 for your typical 8 kW system, $957, nearly $1,000 for your typical 10 kW system. And this is not including the tax benefits. This is not including the tax benefits. So that savings is actually going to be higher when you factor in the tax credit, okay, and knocking this cost down, all right? And also the fact that you're able to actually write off a portion of the loan every year. That's also going to increase those numbers by a lot, okay? But I just wanted to show you the bare bone basics, okay? Because again, we have a model, go solar and invest the difference, and we mean what we say. So in summary and in closing, I want to wrap up and just kind of share with you guys, listen, if you did the math on this savings right here alone, which actually all these will be around this based on those additional benefit and savings factors. If you did the math on this alone, while we say go solar and invest the difference, perhaps you want to leverage an IUL policy. And generally with an illustration, they show you a 6%, okay, a 6% or 6.25 return on investment. So what I did was I did the calculation and I looked at in 25 years. So 25 years, if you took this and you contributed that almost $1,000 a year towards an IUL policy, in 25 years, that return would be, you'd have about $65,000 in that account on average, okay? And again, this is a basic illustration, okay? If you, and of course, factors like age and all that kind of stuff, come into place, but that's pretty darn huge, and that's, lowballing essentially, right? If you just said, hey, no, I just want to put that in savings, you got a 0% return on investment, you'd have about $25,000. If you took this savings and you just contributed that same number every single year for 25 years. Now, what is this not taking into consideration? Every year, utility rates, if they increased by about 4.9%, that means your savings is going to be increasing. Why? Your payment is going to be the same, but your cost is going to be rising. So that means that in 25 years, this will probably be more. And that also means that in 25 years, this right here may be closer to 100,000. That's just if you invested the difference in one of our investment vehicles, right? So if you take into consideration the savings when you calculate the annual increase, you're talking about $106,000 just factoring in when if these rates are going up by 4.9%, okay, that savings is going to increase. In 25 years, you'll have about $106,000 in savings just based on the savings alone. That's not including if you invested that difference. Okay, so our model is very powerful. It's very powerful. And the reason why we added solar was because these numbers just don't lie. And we want to really help you and to help you to empower your clients truly create savings so they can eliminate that debt, have ultimate life and time and just financial freedom and liberate themselves. But our main model is, again, go solar and invest the difference. Thank you.